Hey everybody, it's the Colts. This is Madden Football on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got what should be an interesting matchup between the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half, but it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, on a wonderful fall afternoon in the state of Texas, the roof is open, and we've got football from NRG Stadium in Houston. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. Hi again, everyone. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And, Charles, we look at this Texan ball club entering play here. The losers their last time out, so they'll look to make amends here.
And one of the best ways you can do that is to be at home, and they are. They're going to try and ride that home crowd and that wave of emotion to a victory in this one.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Colts, the streak continues, doesn't it? They come in here a perfect 11-0. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. On 1st and 10, Brissett. Complete. The tight end, Kelsey. 23 yards on the play.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
On 2nd down now, it's Montgomery. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play, and they're going to have a 3rd down.
It's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that, got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
On 3rd down, Brissett. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And unable to connect. Incomplete. Now, give them credit. They took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels. That is how you flip field position. That's an absolute bomb of a punt. Downs it inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely ideal.
From that position, you're hoping to get it down inside the 15, inside the 5. Superb. Throwing on 1st down, it's Jackson. Hits his target, it's Taylor Gabriel. And able to get it across the 20 before they get to him. It'll be a gain of 17 and an Indianapolis 1st down.
Some think that teams really won't throw a slant route unless you have a receiver that has a lot of stature to him. But sometimes the little guys, they get lost in there. People can't really locate them, and they run that quick cut on the slant, and oftentimes they can turn it into big plays.
Now they can breathe a little easier, some room to operate as they've got it 1st and 10 now out past the 20. The throw down the field, caught by his running back. And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. Give the Colts 13 yards and a 1st down.
Nice little nifty play for him there. Yeah, that's the ability to read a defense and utilize players that don't often get picked up in coverage easily. And I'm talking about being able to use the backside of the backfield. Because I know that when I used to cover, hey, we got everybody cover. Oh, he just snuck out there, and they just got a nice 1st down there.
This is caught inside the 15. A huge play that time for the Colts. 57 yards. Excellent execution, and now they're set up nicely.
Are they ever? Red zone? I wonder what the next play call is going to be, because after a big play like that, a lot of teams like to use the momentum to launch another one.
Now a throw to the end zone on first down, but it winds up incomplete. Darren Waller, the intended receiver, but it'll be second and goal.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored, you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first. An ideal drive right there, getting the first 6 points of the ball game.
Do you go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator? Remember what he told us?
Absolutely.
With some teams, I script to probe in the early part of the game. Other teams, I script to attack. They've been in attack mode for these ball games and continue that in this one.
And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. And now out comes Houston. And to be frank, they're just in a tough spot. It's only November, already eliminated from playoff contention. I know their fan base doesn't want to hear that, but that's the case. What are they fighting for now going forward?
You know exactly what they're fighting for. Is that word that some people don't want to hear, but it's pride.
Draft. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go draft, but pride's better, right?
You know something? You're right, because that's part of it, but that's two different mindsets. That's front office mindset, draft position, where are we going to be and what do we need to get? And then the players and the coaching staff right now, pride. Can they win some games and feel better about themselves despite the fact they have no shot at the playoffs?
But look there at the defensive starters for the Colts. They played extremely well last week in that win over the Packers.
I just consider myself fortunate that I'm not in charge of the offensive line. They gave up 7 sacks last week. And if things don't improve in this game, the head coach isn't going to be looking at the offensive line. He's going to be looking at the offensive line coach. And that's when things get dicey.
Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. And this passing game's whole offense really didn't show up in the loss last week, and it hasn't started all that great here either.
Yeah, and they can't let that incompletion become an uh-oh moment. Like, oh boy, here we go again. Just like last week, each game is its own entity, treated as such.
A very good return that time. 18 yards. And the Colts will go on offense here, 1st and 10. And now Indianapolis set to take the field. And it's only November, but the playoffs, we know how it works. They'll be here before you know it. If it ended today, they would be the number 1 seed.
And that's a great spot to be in, but I love the phrase, if it ended today. And I'll guarantee you, that's what they've discussed in their locker room, in their meeting rooms. Yeah, we know where we'd be if it ended today, but we also know it's not ending today.
Right.
So they've got to continue to play the type of ball that put them in the spot where they're number 1 record.
Oh, Chubb fumbled it, and the Texans scoop it. And his guys are going to get the football at the 37-yard line. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's more a matter of what the offensive guy didn't do. He didn't secure the ball, didn't cover up. In this case, let's just give credit to where it belongs. Knocked it free, made a big play.
All that only nets him a yard. It's 2nd down.
The goal of a wide receiver screen is get enough blockers in front to create a wall and let him pick his spot to run the football. How about the defense there, swarming to it and not allowing that to happen? Did not let him get downfield.
And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. Plays like we just saw there. That's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Starts with the guys up front, so when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage.
The Colts are going to get him. Down he goes. Leonard Williams. He continues to wreak havoc in the offensive backfield. Sack number 16 on the year.
2 sacks last week. Another one right here. He's been unblockable lately, and I think that goes all the way back to not just his offseason, but the film study he's been doing during the week, because I think he's found matchups that he likes, and he's capitalizing.
And a few times he's even defeated double teams. He doesn't care at this point.
Let's go.
Here comes the Indianapolis offense now as they get set to take over. And last drive, obviously not what you're looking for. You've got the lead. You got to protect the football.
So in other words, someone got lucky, because they've been moving the ball really well and wearing them down. In this case, though, giving up the football doesn't make them very happy. They can't wait to get back out there and atone for it.
Yeah, try to atone for it here on this drive. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 13.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball, because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
Lamar Jackson, such a threat with those legs, able to improvise and get the first.
Partner, as a quarterback, sometimes you just got to know when the clock has gone off in your head, it's time to go. Tuck it and get all you can.
Update now from a game going on in Pittsburgh. And it's the Ravens that have moved out to an early advantage. Cam Newton, an early touchdown pass in that one. And the hole closes quickly there. He gets maybe a couple up to the 38. A minimal gain as we tick down inside of a minute remaining in the opening quarter.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense, because you're excited about hitting him in the first half, maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
A 14-yard gain for Indianapolis, and also move the sticks.
Slant route's effective no matter who's running the route and catching the ball. But when you have a receiver of that stature, you have to be a little bit more precise throwing it. You don't have the same catch radius with the bigger targets.
So a 1st and 10 now in Houston territory at the 48-yard line. Flushed out right. Now he's going to throw it deep. Got a man. It's caught inside the 10. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Trenton Cannon with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Colts, they add on to their advantage.
And that's another route that defenders would vote to take out of the game.
The wheel route?
Oh, without a doubt. You're just trying to move everybody in one direction. And whether it's a running back or another receiver, as they zip out on the sideline, you've got a problem on your hands.
Yeah, well, the defenders hate it there. It happened, and it resulted in a touchdown. Lutz good on the extra point, and that'll make the score 14-0. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This will be taken in at the 1. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. 14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports. First down, here's the run to Montgomery. And boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level, because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is well over. And now on the pitch, the ball's loose. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, and that could have been trouble. And they are going to score on the fumble return. Touchdown, Indianapolis.
Good job, baby.
This first half has been a nightmare for that offense. Defense just dominating them.
And when you're picking up the ball, picking up their mistakes, and taking it the other way and putting it in the end zone, that's a defense's dream. They're having that type of a game.
Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong for this offensive unit. Lutz with the extra point, and it's now 21-0. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Amari Cooper and the rest of the offense heading back out there now. They've got to be thinking, how can we get him a little bit more involved here? Second quarter, you're down, and really, he's been out of the mix.
I would agree with that, and oftentimes you hear, well, we're just taking what the defense is giving us, but sometimes that's just not good enough. Sometimes you have to take what you want, and that means getting him the football.
Yeah, so far just a single catch in this game. Here's a run on first down that doesn't accomplish anything. In fact, he's going to be tackled behind the line for a loss of 1.
When Leonard Williams was picked in the 2015 NFL Draft, I compared him to Merlin Olsen, and I got a lot of grief about it. Did you just see that play there? Did you see how he made that move and made that tackle? That was Merlin Olsen-esque there.
I just perked up when you said Merlin Olsen.
Yeah, a lot of people said, hey, that's too much, too far, and maybe it is early, but I think this guy has a chance of fulfilling that.
Now a throw for the All-Pro Kelsey is complete. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. 15 yards, the Texans pick up the first down.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
On first down, Montgomery. And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down. Another example right there how this defense really is winning the entire game at the point of attack.
Yeah, right there at the line of scrimmage because they are dominating it. It allows their interior guys to get upfield and spill into the backfield. So how are you going to combat that? You know, if it's bring in your tight end, keep him in, your running backs, they have to step forward. Bottom line, your offensive line has to block them first to give yourself a chance. And the game just keeps evolving. Big guys running those corner routes, so difficult to cover.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. From the shotgun, it's Brissett. He'll leave it for Montgomery complete. And he's going to get this down near the 20-yard line. They get 14 on that one. Good for a Houston first down. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills like a receiver and you're aware of that before the game even begins. So throughout your practice sessions, you're going to want to be aware of him. Where is he lining up? What can he do? What kind of damage can he do to us downfield? And who can match up with him without weakening our overall defense? You're exactly right. It's a tough task to match up to him.
On 2nd and 7, Brissett. And they're going to get him. He's sacked back around the 28. Leonard Williams in there to bring him down, and that is sack number 17 now on the season. The Texans on 3rd down, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 16. Brissett sets to throw it. And he's got his target. That's Moore. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
Offense.
Well, they've already allowed 3 sacks in this first half. Now a holding penalty.
So I think drastic measures had to be taken, right? The regular way was not working. He was getting hit almost every snap, it felt like. They had to try and keep him upright.
And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. Call it a loss of 2 on the play. And that's going to make it 4th down. And never good on a pass completion there to go the wrong way. Lost yardage.
No, for some reason it seems to work better when you throw it downfield or you can move the ball downfield running it that way, doesn't it? But in this case, if you're the defensive guys, you're energized, executed well, and you caused a lost yardage play. That's going to feel good and look great in film.
He had the distance, but it's no good. Wide to the right, and this score will stay right where it is. So it's an empty trip downfield there as they get a missed field goal on 4th down.
And I didn't see anything in the setup. It's a good snap, good hold.
Yep.
He just pushed it, and that one never wanted to come back.
And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. That's good for an Indianapolis first down on a gain of 10.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
Now this throw caught left side. And he'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 12.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
On first down, they'll run with Chubb, and he'll keep it moving down to the 15-yard line. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3. A good run got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3. A run for Nick Chubb. And he'll go down here at the 12-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
And Brandon, you know that expression? He just does what he does? It sounds trite, doesn't it? But in this case, it's perfectly apt. This is one of the better runners in the NFL. And all he does is just find avenues, find ways.
Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. Sheldon Richardson in there to take him down on what will take us to the 2-minute warning. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. After the sack on first down, Jackson, and he will score. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Lamar Jackson on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Colts, they add on to their advantage. Well, the defensive coverage was good, so good he just decided to make a play of his own, and it worked out.
Yeah, you often wonder if they think to themselves, was the coverage too good to allow him to run the football? I think you'd rather take your chances with him doing exactly that, and he beat him on that play all the way to the end zone.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Ty Montgomery and the offense getting set for their next drive. They haven't been able to get him on track. They haven't been able to get this offense on track. No points so far.
Maybe it's time to start doing a few different things. Throwing the ball a little bit, maybe featuring other people touching it for a while, and then you've got a chance to come back to him when things have changed a little bit. They have to make an adjustment.
Still time for him here as we sit in the second quarter.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
Throwing again, Brissett on 2nd and 10. And, he took that in one-handed. What a grab. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down. Brissett looking for Kelsey there, but it's intercepted. Picked off by the safety, Jarquiski Tart. And he will bring it back. An interception return for a Colts TD. That pick six extending this lead even further. Boy, it's been a while since I've seen a team struggle this badly in the first half.
I think all they want to do is get to the locker room, try and regroup, and come out to start the third quarter. But if things don't improve fast then, I think the backups get a lot of play in the second half.
A heck of a play there defensively, getting the interception, navigating his way into the end zone for the touchdown. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And now out comes Houston.
There was still more than a minute to go in the half. Time to try to mount a drive.
And I would think that they would have to. This is today's NFL. You got to push it whenever you get an opportunity. You can never have enough points with the high-powered offenses that you face. And analytics will tell you, try and score when given the opportunity.
Brissett now. Toward the left sideline, but it's incomplete. Quincy Anoon with the intended receiver, but it's going to be second down. An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Here's Brissett. They'll set up the screen to Montgomery. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. A fresh set of downs on a gain of 13 there for the Texans. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with exactly a minute to go before halftime. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. From the gun, here's Brissett. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Now the Texans will use one of their 2 remaining timeouts as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. Throwing, Brissett. It's caught by Quincy Anoon. The Colts going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1. And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. Out of the gun, Brissett. And the throw there going to be incomplete. A hat tip to P.J. Williams there defensively, making sure that one didn't find its target.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
Here's Jones. A good return there, 17 yards. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Lamar Jackson marching back onto the field. He's played a pretty clean first half, a touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of him. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes. But right now...
And Jackson cannot get away, and he'll go down. Now the Colts going to burn the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. Eluding the pressure right. Going deep here for Stills. It's caught inside the 25. And he takes this one in for a Colts touchdown. Kenny Stills. 83 yards as his guys continue to put this one out of reach.
Brandon, my man, just one sentence for that one. Clinic.
And that's what they've done. They lead the league in points per game this season, but it's been quick strikeability as we saw on that drive.
I think they're actually intimidating defenses because they're back on their heels right away, wondering where it's going to come from, how they're going to hit them. This group is well organized, well coached, and extremely confident in what they do.
Getting set to go again, we get a look at Amari Cooper as he heads back out there now. A chance maybe here for them to get him more involved. They're down here on the scoreboard, and he's been very quiet.
And the silence has been deafening for his team. They don't need that at all. They need fireworks. They need explosive plays. They need him touching the football in any way possible. Maybe go to some jet sweeps. Anything to get him going.
Yeah, something to get in the... So I'm waltzing down Main Street, got an umbrella, just a torrential downpour, and I look over, and this guy's stone-faced wearing a poncho that says, "Don't rain on my parade," and he is just angry. And we gotta go. I'll tell you the rest later. Here we go. Third quarter. Out come the Colts. They'll have it first here to start quarter number 3. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on Here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. So a 1st and 10 now in Houston territory at the 49-yard line. Give them a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
Well, we saw them there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. Andy Isabella was the intended target, and it's 3rd down.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
Now it's Jackson. Gets it to his running back, Cannon. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. And he's going to be taken down with another 1st down as the stop's made at the Texans' 28. Whatever the discussions were at halftime to try to slow down this offense, it has not worked to this point.
Yeah, I have a vision right now of everything that was discussed at the half just being torn in shreds or being erased off of the Microsoft Surface tablets because none of it is working. They are really locked in on offense.
It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down. Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. They run it again with Chubb. He is taken down at the 21 after a short gain of 2.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
Sliding out of the pocket. And he takes it down to the 13 and picks up the 1st.
Well, he's proven real effective running the football. No one open, don't force it. Just get what you can, and that's what he's done very well in this game.
All right, T, let's turn. All right, T.
Chubb. And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9. And again, it's Chubb. And he'll be dropped at about the 11 after only a yard.
In order to play really good run defense when you're playing a 3-4, those 3 guys up front, the nose tackle and the guys they call the defensive ends, they're usually big, big people because they're going to have to eat up a lot of blockers because it's usually 5-on-3. And when they do their job well, guys who play on the inside, those inside linebackers, they're able to just roam and hit.
Escaping the pressure right. He may try and run for this. And he'll be taken down, but he does have 1st down yardage. Give him 10 that time, escaping the danger, running with it, and picking up a 1st down. Here's Jackson to throw, and he will score. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Lamar Jackson taking it in as his guys continue to pour it on. He keeps carrying the ball into the end zone, and in this one, he's sort of carrying the team on his back.
He's the reason that they lead right now, no question about it. And you talk about on his back, he's not minding the extra weight at all, is he? Carrying that just as lightly as he does the football. Yeah, what a great performance so far.
Those 3 touchdowns, it's got him in the lead. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line.
Let's go.
Here's the Texans offense now, readying for their first possession of the second half. They're down in this game, a chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second half?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. Shane Ray, he continues to wreak havoc in the offensive backfield. Sack number 16 on the year. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. To throw, Brissett. And that will be incomplete. Another drive comes and goes. Still nothing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and when the second half comes, you know, it's real easy to get discouraged and wonder if you're ever going to get things started. You just got to fight through it. Got to keep pounding away.
Here's Jones on the return. Great blocking on the return. It springs him for 25. And that will come the offense as they take over. Elsewhere, NFL scoreboard, third quarter now in Tennessee. Now, you saw the score at the bottom of your screen a moment ago. We got a good one going on there. They start on the ground with Nick Chubb. Andrew Luck, a couple of touchdown passes thus far. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Nick Chubb, his 19th touchdown now on the season as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
Well, I'm not sure if they drew that play up to score, but it scored indeed. One play on the ground and into the end zone for 6. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back on the field here. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting. Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
So 2nd and 8 here after the pass play for 2 yards on first down. And this is the 10th carry for Ty Montgomery. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. 10 yards there, good enough for a Texan first down.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
First down, Brissett. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Mackenzie Alexander with a pick. And the return comes to a halt right at the 44-yard line. Anunwa, the intended target.
And, Brandon, this is a real nice job defensively of getting inside a quarterback's head and figuring out, okay, where's he going with the football? Because you can make an educated guess defensively. Not all the time, but sometimes. And when you're right, you've got a decent chance of coming away with the football.
And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Lamar Jackson, 44 yards. And thanks to the interception, the Colts offense cashes in with 6. And that rushing touchdown, his 4th, puts him just one shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it, but he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. And here comes the Texans now. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. They might need to go to the emotional side because you've got to find something, some spark somewhere. And so far, just being calm hasn't exactly worked.
They need any spark at this point. And he'll get about 4 across the 30 to the 32.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Watch 81.
On 3rd and 1, here's Brissett. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Leonard Williams in there to get him, and that is now sack number 18 on the season for him.
It's been a tough one all game long for this offensive line. They're already down big, and now you know they're just going to come after the quarterback in a big way, don't you?
Yeah, they just can't get out of their own way right now. it's created an avalanche, and an avalanche is coming right on top of them. Oh, the return is Jones. That one in the books as a 64-yard punt. And the Colts are going to take over, albeit deep in their own territory. The Colts come to the line ready to start their next drive. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? I mean, they score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, I think you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
Still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
They go with Chubb on second down. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6. Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big, big number. But 20 was the threshold because that kept them in the ballgame and kept the pressure off of their own offense.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
Defensively, a bit of a collapse, allowing the 4th down play to result in 23 yards. Still throwing the football here, even with the big lead.
Yeah, I know you and I came up in a different era, and we think about sportsmanship and all that. Other people think about fantasy points and getting their numbers. That's all they care about right now.
On 1st down, Chubb able to get forward for about 4 as he's taken down. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down. The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6.
51's Mike. Mike 51. Yeah. Hunt 64. Wait. He's coming. Double up. Double up. He's coming. Double up.
On the ground, it's Chubb. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. That's good for an Indianapolis 1st down on a gain of 10. Well, that looked like an example of what you said back in the first half. A running back of his size can really wear down a defense. I think he's starting to do that.
I think you're exactly right. And know what else he's doing? He's inspiring the rest of his team because they see this starting to happen as well. So that means they're going to redouble their efforts to help him out. Extra block.
And that is caught. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Taylor Gabriel with touchdown number 8 on the year as his guys continue to pour it on. So another score there. Often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the 4th quarter. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
Give him 9 there on the 1st down completion. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. And on the left sideline, he caught it, but out of bounds, according to the head linesman. Incomplete, so the ball a little late getting there, and it's 3rd down. The Texans on 3rd down. It has been a disaster. 0 for 8 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect. Another incompletion. You know, it's a wonder he's still moving around back there the number of times he's been sacked.
Yeah, he's staying out there, isn't he? And you don't think about it much in a game like this, but he's showing incredible leadership. Still competing, still fighting, not taking himself out of a ball game that appears lost.
That'll be put in the books as a 53-yard punt. And the offense will come back out deep in their own territory. The field position game, such an overlooked facet, Charles, of an NFL game, but this offense, they're going to be pinned back. What an ideal punt.
An ideal punt, and it leads to that term complementary football, because them doing that puts their defense in a great spot, doesn't it? Gives them a chance. If they want to be aggressive, try and maybe get a safety out of this whole thing, it puts them in that position.
And way up past the 35 before he's taken down. A big-time gain there on the keeper, using his legs to hurt him. First down. Much more room to operate under after the big play. Here's 1st and 10. They run. Chubb. And this winds up a gain of 4 to the 41.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
And he probably should have given that one off, as he's going to get hit and taken down behind the line. That's going to go down as a loss of 5, and it brings up 3rd down.
Well, they have had success when he keeps the ball in the option, but not there. I mean, you just saw exactly why many old NFL coaches would say, don't use your quarterback in the running game.
The Colts on 3rd down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 11.
Check. I'm here all day.
From the gun, it's Jackson. Flush to his right. Looking for his running back, and he's got him. And he takes it down deep into enemy territory. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. They have the nice cushion. They just want to pour it on right now, still throwing the football.
And I know my background says, why do you need to do this? Just go ahead and run out the clock and get a win. But as many people pointed out to me, this is a video game, man. Go ahead and put the numbers up. Sportsmanship, not an issue.
Exercise those fingers. The 3 red zone trips, 3 touchdowns so far. They'll look for a 4th on 2nd and goal. They'll give it to Chubb. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Nick Chubb with touchdown number 20 on the year as his guys continue to put this one out of reach.
There's no doubt in my mind.
And do you hear that? Do you hear the...
It's not scales, right? I don't hear scales. Do I actually hear a tune being warbled?
I think the fat lady's humming.
Yeah, she's doing more than humming. She's belting it out right now.
She's full bore.
Yeah, this thing is flat out finished.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Heading out is the Texans offense as they get set to take over here. And still no points on the scoreboard. You're coming off of the 3 and out. They're just looking for anything to grab onto right now, aren't they?
I'm wondering if someone's going to take charge in the huddle. You know, we always look to the quarterback, but sometimes it's another player on the team, a star, a veteran, someone with some excitement and energy. It's like, all right, guys, let's shake things up and let's go, because they still have an opportunity to make things happen.
Shake it off. Now Montgomery, he's got it on the draw. Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he's stopped behind the line of scrimmage. And the trend continues here in the 4th like it was in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. But bottom line is he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
And this will probably be the final play before the 2-minute warning.
Watch time. Tight end right.
On 3rd down, they go Montgomery. And he'll get this up near midfield, but that's still a few yards shy of the 1st down. Give him 4 yards on the play, and that will lead us into the 2-minute warning. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. Here's Brian Anger now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. No returning this one. It sails out of bounds, and they'll spot it right at the 20. And the Colts coming out now. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. These guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game. And that's always puzzled me a little bit. He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. 16 yards to pick up there. The Colts have a first down.
And he continues to pile up the yardage. That puts him over $150 now. And this defense has really had its problems trying to keep him contained.
Well, not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Stepping up, he'll try and run. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Indianapolis moving the chains there on a gain of 12.
Well, that's the fear any defense has when the quarterback gets involved in the running game. You don't usually account for him, and he's hurting them today.
Yeah, he's been very involved in the running game. Defensively, when you've got the coverage good downfield, how do you account for him, though?
Occasionally, you start to spy him. Take someone who has the same agility, who can dance with him, run with him, and try and keep him in the pocket.
Yeah, that'll be especially critical here as we come down the stretch in the 4th. A give running right is Chubb. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. That's good for an Indianapolis first down on a gain of 10.
It's a gain of 10. And the Colts first down. Come, baby.
So this one winds up an Indianapolis victory. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. Time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one, and that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that and you're out there fresh playing, off a little extra spring in your step,